Hi, it's Kassy with Kassy's Parlor, and today we're going to work with Dura-Lar matte film. This is 0.005 two-sided matte film from Dura-Lar. It's 9 by 12, and we also have some double tack mounting film. We're going to use these products with some alcohol ink to make a really fun summer lantern that you can put outside or in your garden or wherever you would like to decorate. So first I'm just going to start by getting a piece of matte Dura-Lar out. A full sheet, okay? And if you've never used it before, it's a really beautiful, looks and feels kind of delicate, but it's really durable, and it's got like a frosty matte finish, and it accepts all different kinds of mediums. This is a really, really great product to have in your stash. I cannot live without it, so I'm going to put this aside so we can just get started right away, so you can kind of see where it sits here. And so I'm going to use 3 different colors of Brea Reese alcohol ink today. I have blush, turquoise, and medium magenta, and I'm going to cover this entire thing with alcohol ink. I'm also going to use some blending solution to help move it around, and I've got my little air blower thing. This one is just a generic one that came with like a photo edit or a photo kit, you know, for your digital cameras. So that's where I got that. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of work in sections, and the goal here is to cover this whole thing, and then I'll show you I'm going to use my Cricut to cut out a shape, and then we're going to make it into a lantern. It'll be very, very pretty. Okay. So just to get started, I am going to put a little bit of the blending solution here and there, and I kind of am going to work in quadrants, like I'm going to do a section at a time. Just, you know, honestly, I've never covered a surface this big before, so I'm just feeling like that might be a little bit easier for me to manage. Okay, so just taking a couple colors, I'm going to start with just the 2 pinks. All right, and we'll add the turquoise in a minute, and I just want to like gently move it around, let it start to blend with each other. This dark magenta obviously really takes over, and it's not moving as much as I'd like, so I'm going to add a little bit. Ooh, look at, I love the dots. I just love playing with alcohol ink. It's so fun, and you know, you never know what you're going to get. So I'm going to just put a little bit more. I really want to lighten up that medium magenta. That's pretty dark. It's gorgeous, but it does tend to take over a little bit. So I'm just starting with the pink. I think maybe now I'm going to move over here. And this is like, you know, this doing the sections at a time is just me kind of getting familiar and playing with, like, working with this large of a surface, because I honestly have never done. This is a 9 by 12, so it's pretty large area, but man, a lot of real estate to play with, you know, so that's pretty exciting and fun. Oh, now I love this medium pink that's happening here, and you notice I'm leaving some hole areas because I am definitely going to bring in some of the turquoise, but I want it to kind of sit with the pink and not take over, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm going to add it later. Okay, starting with the blending solution, because that kind of just helps me, if you're used to paint, you know, it gives you more of an open time. So you know, it allows you to have a little bit more movement with the alcohol ink. And ooh, I love what's happening over there. That's really cool. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is turning out so great. It's so vibrant and beautiful too, and that's exactly what I wanted. This is going to go on my deck with my patio set, you know, and the fun outdoor flowers. We just got a hibiscus tree out there, and I just like want bright and sunshine and summer, and that's what I'm thinking about. So I love it when that lighter pink hits that darker magenta. That pink it creates is really cool. So just, you know, play with this, have fun. There's no right or wrong, well, there's no wrong answer here. Everything is right. I just want to see how we're doing. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I love it so much. Yeah, so no wrong answer. It's totally just up to you and your preference. And obviously even the colors are up to you and your preference. So if you want totally different colors, I could see doing like a medium to light green with some aqua and turquoise or whatever. That could be really beautiful and have like a monochromatic kind of thing going on. Okay, so I'm gonna start with just a little bit of turquoise, just introduce it and see how we do. Oh yeah. Okay, that's perfect. So you see in some areas where it was clear, it's staying its true color, but then here it's mixing and turning purple, and that is what I was hoping for. I just don't want a ton of purple because I want this to stay nice and bright, but that just looks so pretty. And then you can even add little dots, right? And it gives you a little bit more movement and interest. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, I think I want a tiny bit over here, so I'm just going to come over here next. And, you know, honestly, you just play. Oh, I got a couple drops where I wasn't expecting, but it's pretty cool. Another thing that you want to play with and just kind of get a feel for and decide how you like it is if you, excuse me, if you're using a blower like this to, you know, to really put a lot of like really hard pressure on this so that you get a big puff of air, and then really kind of gentle, and then how you sweep it across too. It changes the way that the alcohol moves on the page here and works with it. So I have this corner that's kind of blank, so we're just gonna put, ooh, that's a lot, that's okay. A little bit of turquoise over here, let it kind of come in a little bit. That looks pretty cool. I love those two little drops that are there. Okay, so then I'm going to come over here next. There's nothing over here really, and I want to balance out this turquoise, you know, across the whole thing. So I'm just putting a little bit down here, and then, gosh, I think what I would say if you're just wanting to start playing with alcohol ink and kind of get your feet wet. I mean, I'm really new to alcohol ink, honestly. I've been using it for a while, but doing stuff like this where it's just kind of abstract and like taking a whole page, I'm very, very much not a professional, I would say. But it's so fun, and you never know what you're going to get. And like I said, there's no wrong answer. I love the movement here. I do want to have a little bit over here. So just play with it and work in small sections. And I would say one other thing to maybe just pay attention to and consider would be, you know, if you're using darker colors like this turquoise or like that dark magenta, use it in smaller doses because it really does want to kind of take over sometimes. But maybe you want it to be dark, you know, again, it's totally up to you. All right, I'm going to flip this because I want to get a different perspective on the whole thing. I think this thing is totally gorgeous and I'm in love with it. There's a little bit of white space here, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Maybe I'm going to do a little bit of, no, actually I think I will do a little bit of turquoise, but just the teeny tiniest drop, if that's possible. Okay, that's the smallest I could get. And I'm going to gently blow on it. I don't want it to move very far, but I'm really honestly just filling in the white space. I don't really want any white space. Okay, that's probably far enough. I don't really want any white space in here. So this is pretty light. So I'm going to add some pink, okay, without any alcohol. And I'm just going to gently move that around. Maybe I'm going to put a tiny bit of this in the middle. So just play. And the other cool thing with alcohol ink is if you don't like what's happening, you can always change it. You can definitely always change it. Okay, I really love the kind of dots and the almost textury stuff that's going on there. That's super awesome. Okay, this looks pretty good to me. There's a little bit of white space here. Let's see if I add a little bit of the pink and kind of just move it around. Okay, I'm happy with that. Yep, this looks really great. So then, once I'm happy, then you can also, okay, I have a mini mister here and it has 91% isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to do little drips from way up high. and it's going to give me some really interesting sort of textural patterns in here. It's going to give a bunch of little dots everywhere, which I think are really cool. So that's just another technique you can do. It is highly recommended that you not put alcohol blending solution in a mister. You don't want to mist this and have it in aerosol form, because there are binders in here and resin in here that can get in your lungs, and that's not good for anybody. But regular alcohol, 91% is fine, so you can definitely use that. So that is my safety tip. Okay, here we go. Look at this gorgeous piece that we've made. So I'm going to make this into a lantern, but honestly, you could do so many things with this. This could be a journal cover. You could cut out shapes and put it on card fronts. This could be a background for card fronts, you know, cut them up. And I mean, smaller sections of any of this would be really, really cool as backgrounds for cards, journal pages, literally anything you want to make. And look at that beautiful mess we've left behind. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what I'm going to cut out on the Cricut. So this is flower 3D wall art, okay? So it's just meant to be a piece that it lays flat and hangs on the wall, but I'm going to make it into a lantern, okay? So it measures, let's see, 9 by 10. Okay, so that's fine because this is 9 by 12. So it's going to cut out this flower right in the middle, and then it will shorten this just a little bit. But what it's going to do, if I show you really close, this flower, if you notice, there aren't any points that meet. So that means it's going to cut the petals into this material, and then they can just kind of pop up, and they're not going to cut out completely. So it'll be just a really cool effect there. So that's what I'm going to go do, cut this out of the Cricut, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so I'm back now. I haven't taken it off the Cricut mat yet. I do want to let you know that I cut it on the Mylar setting with more pressure, and that worked just fine. Okay, the other thing I wanted to let you know is, so I've already cleared off my mat that my surface I was working on, and I just use hand sanitizer and squeeze it out, and then use a paper towel to kind of wipe it, and it takes all of the alcohol ink off of your hands, off of the surface, whatever you're working on. So that's a really easy way to clean up your space when you're done working. Okay, the other thing I said, I used Mylar with more pressure, and that worked for me. I have a Cricut Maker 3, but I want to say that anytime you're working with any kind of new substrate, so in this case it's the matte Dura-Lar, this is our substrate, that you want to do a test cut on your machine, because all machines are different. Even if you have a Maker 3 and you do Mylar more pressure, it might work a little bit different than mine does. So just test it out first before you try to cut out your full project. The other thing that I'll say about using your Cricut is that what I do, especially when I'm fairly new to working with a surface or a substrate on a new machine, this is a brand new machine, even when I feel like I'm confident that there's a hair on there, confident that it's going to cut right, I still, after it says it's done, before I press unload, I check it. I check a corner, I'm like, okay, yep, it seems to cut okay, and then I will unload it. Otherwise, I'll just press go again and let it cut out one more time. If you press unload, even if you don't take it off of your mat and you put it back in, it could be off just enough to ruin your project. So that's just another tip from me about using the Cricut to cut things out. Okay, so now we're going to take our project off of the Cricut board, and first I'm going to take away the excess. Okay, so this is our excess. You better believe I'm not throwing this away. This is great stuff. I mean, even look at this strip here. How fantastic is that? And there are a million different ways that I can use this baby. So I'm just going to set it aside because we don't need it for this project, but please don't throw it away. All right, to take this off of the mat, instead of pulling up, okay, I like to flip my mat over and grab a corner and just kind of gently and slowly, this seems to be going pretty quickly, that's good, let it separate from the mat. This is going to do a couple things. It's going to help prevent any potential tearing that could occur, and also it's going to help your substrate lay flat. It makes a bigger difference if you're working with paper, because paper, if you peel it up like this, it tends to curl up. Matte Dura-Lar won't do that necessarily, but as just a general rule, I think it's best to take things off of your mat that way. It always works best for me. Okay, so now I've got this awesome flower in here that you really can't see yet, okay? So I'm just going to start popping up some of the petals. Yeah, so there's a few tacky areas, and I've just got some of this gold gilding flakes, and I think it would be really pretty to just have some gold ribbons here and there. So I'm looking for spots that are where the alcohol ink is like meeting with another color. You can get some stickiness, and it really lends itself nicely to adding just a few little gold flakes. This stuff is really fun to use, but also can be kind of messy, so you have to be really careful. Make sure you're not around a fan. That would be disastrous. And I really just like to let it go where it's going to go and not try to control it. So I just kind of rub it around and look for spots that have a little bit of stickiness still. It's just going to add that little bit of extra beautiful touch to your end project. And actually, I should have done this probably before I cut it out, only because there were more spots that were still sticky. Because, you know, alcohol ink does dry fairly quickly, but the more of the blending solution you use, the stickier those places are, those kind of spots where they meet. But it's just really, really pretty. And then when you're done, you can just flake off the excess that doesn't stick anywhere. So there we go. So now we've got some really pretty gold. Just shake it out and see what's left. And there we've got some gold little ribbons running through here and there. So pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to pop up these petals and assemble the lantern. Okay, so now I have gone through and I've popped up all those petals. Can you see? And all I did was just take each petal and fold it over and kind of crease it. So it's not fully folded over, but it's popped up, you see? So the next step is going to be to get some of the double tack mounting film. Okay, this stuff is fantastic because I can cut this to whatever shape or size I need it to be, 1/2 to 3/4 inches wide, but honestly I'm not measuring. This is just eyeballing. I just need a good strip of really durable adhesive, and that's what this is. Alright, so then I'm just going to take it, now this is a side, so I'm just going to stick it down on this one side, peel off the other side. Okay, and now we've got clear double stick film, and it is super duper sticky and super durable and is going to last for a long time. Okay, I think we might be good. There we go. Alright, and then I'm just going to reach my hand in underneath there and just make sure it's burnished really well so it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so there we go. We've got the adhesive in here. So we've got our lantern basically done. Okay, look at how cool that is. The main thing is that you just need a way to hang it. So I'm going to pinch in the middle here. Okay, so we're finding my seam and pinching just so they line up at the top, and then I'm going to take my hole punch, just like I think this is a 1/4 inch or it's got to be an 1/8 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to punch it just a little ways in, okay, from the top, just enough so that you've got some room to add the string to it. And so then I doubled it up just to make it a little bit stronger, but depending on what kind of string or whatever you use, you may not need to do that. So then I'm just going to tie a knot so that it kind of hangs out on the inside. Do the same thing on the other side, and I went from the outside in. Okay, so go to my hole, go from the outside in, and then just tie a knot on the other side as well. And there we go. We have a lantern. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some inspiration today. I'd love to see your lanterns if you make them. You can visit me at kassysparlor.com, anywhere on social media. If you're interested in learning more about Dura-Lar or other graphics products, you can go to graphicarts.com for more inspiration. Thanks so much. Have a great day.